So what's going on, all you Sexi Messi Flexi Pexi motherfuckers? It's your boy T-Dub, and we're back with another video. This ain't really a YouTube ramble, it's more of a gaming related topic, but it's gonna be kind of a ramble type thing, you know. I've pretty much been going through one of my usual, at this point, it's usual, gaming slumps, where I'm just like, I don't really want to play anything, or at least I was. That's what I was going through. And then I got Breath of the Wild. And Breath of the Wild, I don't know, it kind of like inspired me to want to play games again. Like, now I want Horizon, I want Nier, I want Kingdom Hearts. There's so many games that are coming out this year that came out last year and the year before that I just never got to try. Like Witcher 3, Rise of the Tomb Raider. I beat the first Tomb Raider, the remake for PS4. I beat that one, but I never got Rise of the Tomb Raider. I never got The Witcher 3. Well, I never played the Witcher series in general. I never got around to playing Fallout 4. There's so many different games that I just never got to play because I was just in a rut, pretty much. Like, I was just in one of those little slumps where it's like, I really have nothing that I want to play, and I just want to talk about one of those little ruts and what they are and how you come out of them. So I feel like in this day and age, and this spans throughout, you know, all of when you grow up, it's like, as a kid, your imagination is so varied, you know, and it's like you could find enjoyment in the simplest things. So it's like when you have video games and they express all these different types of imaginations from different people, you know, you start to play them and you start to see the stories they try to tell and the different gameplay elements they try to use in the level design, and you really get to express yourself within someone else's creation, kind of. That's kind of going into the, you know, philosophical shit of it, but in essence, you get to enjoy someone else's imagination is basically what video games are. And well, that's what all art is. But anyways, though, I feel like with the 7th generation and the 8th generation is kind of moving away from it a little bit more, but especially with the 7th generation of video game consoles, it's like a lot of people started to do the same stuff. A lot of people started to become more realistic. You know, it wasn't necessarily about the imagination anymore. You know, you can have a realistic type game that still has like otherworldly elements, like Mass Effect, you know, like Bioshock, you know, and you get to explore these worlds and these different environments and these different characters that people think of. But it wasn't like it was in the 6th generation, especially, at least for me, because that's my favorite generation, or in the 4th generation with the SNES and the Sega Genesis. It wasn't like that anymore. It wasn't people taking all these fantasy type stuff, fantasy type characters, and giving them these colorful environments to run around in and all this different type of stuff in these worlds. It wasn't like that anymore. Everything became more serious and dark, and I think indie devs are the way to tap back into that market, which is why they're becoming so much more prominent, because people, you know, adults and kids alike, want to go back to that. They want to explore these fantasy type worlds, these imaginations of these people. But when you put them in a realistic society where, you know, they go through these stories that are kind of like shit you would see on TV, like reality shows or fucking, you know, like sci-fi movies that are still based in reality, you know, and while that stuff is enjoyable, it starts to get old because it's like, well, I can imagine this in real life, you know what I'm saying? This is not a story that's hard to come up with in real life situations. I want something that's not able, that I cannot do in real life. I want to go out and climb fucking Hyrule Castle and shoot people with light arrows and have a magical sword that seals darkness. You know, like that's more enjoyable, at least to me, and that's more enjoyable to a lot of people. So when you have games and the gaming industry starts to go into this more serious direction, you know, it kind of takes away the passion and the imagination that people had, developers and players alike. So once you take that away, you kind of take the enjoyment out of stuff, and that's why I'm really getting back into it now with like Zelda, especially Kingdom Hearts, because Kingdom Hearts takes place in fucking, like, there's Disney characters in it, and it's like, how cool would it be if I could like run through the Disney movies and help and fight some bad guys or something? And that's what you do in Kingdom Hearts pretty much, you know. And then it's like you have you have Horizon, which is more realistic but more sci-fi at the same time. It's kind of like on a Mass Effect scale, or kind of like the more futuristic Call of Duties. And that's kind of a bad analogy, but anyways, or a bad comparison. But anyways, though, it's kind of like that, where it's like there's this realistic looking setting, but at the same time it has all these fantasy elements to where it's like a vast world that's almost nothing like our own, even though these people are realistic looking. You know, instead of being completely realistic with completely realistic stories, you know, it's realistic looking, but with a whole bunch of imagination just sprinkled into it. And I think that's what gaming is going back towards a little bit. You know, you have all these indie developers. You have like stuff like Skylar and Plux, Yooka-Laylee, A Hat in Time, which is one of my most anticipated games ever, bro. Like, I really want to play that game. Like, and I think it's still in like beta or alpha or something like that. Can't remember. You know, you got stuff like Titanfall 2, you got stuff like Horizon, like I said, Nier. You know, you got all these games that have come out and that are coming out that are taking place in these worlds that are completely different from our own aesthetically and just lore wise, you know. And that's what I really like to explore. That's why I really enjoy MMORPGs. But that's a video for another day. That's pretty much what I wanted to talk about. I just wanted to talk about the imagination in video games pretty much, and these worlds that we get to explore in video games. But anyways, though, that's pretty much it. Let me know what you guys thought of the video in the comment section down below. Let's get some discussion going down there. This has been your boy T-Dub, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.
You know it's what your mammy taught you about the surface. Get your meal ticket, meal ticket, come up. Still in my liver, real niggas in my condom hook. Feel hit me back, feel this one with a powder pack. Pill bring me back, feel this one out in California. Meal ticket, meal ticket,